Kismet. We had truly hoped that we'd be back on the road by now, but ended up having to extend our stay at our current park. Yes, we're still in Arizona, and there are no complaints. Well, I guess there are really not much to complain about. Maybe the heat. There's already been several days in triple digits. More on that in a minute. Kismet, our title today, usually defined as destiny or fate.
I'm your density.
Maybe this was the greater plan for us all along. I mean, all the unusual delays and roadblocks that have popped up for us. If you could call it being stuck, at least we're in a familiar place near family and friends with a minimum of restrictions imposed on us. Mostly comfortable weather, plenty of supplies available, a friendly park, and full hookups. The positive side is we're not in any kind of forced quarantine other than what we impose on ourselves, and our state seems to be more or less not as restrictive as others. The only thing keeping us from moving on is that the feds haven't relaxed the restrictions on monuments and parks. Now, we've heard a couple of corporate decisions in some of the larger and chain parks being what we'd consider overly aggressive in some states, and trying to impose those state rules on us, but for the most part, Arizona is fine. Pennsylvania has opened up for RVing, and many other states are following suit. So we're going to give it a couple of weeks and hope for the best. With any luck, we can get this show on the road. Yeah, fate has been good for us so far. What do travelers do when their wings have been temporarily pinned back? Why, we get on Amazon and order a bunch of necessities, or is that niceties? We go shopping. We do some small upgrades like getting some tire and wheel covers. Hey, the sun in the Southwest can be brutal on rubber. And more clips to mount tools in the basement. Pick up a couple of 5-gallon cans for spare diesel on travel days. Then, of course, is a very annoying problem, which turns out to be a repair of a gray tank odor, which ran us out of the RV when the days broke 100 degrees. I tracked it down to the laundry room drain off our bedroom. Not nice. Not at all. Who'd have thought a gray water tank could stink so badly? I checked all of the other sinks in our solitude and found that they had AAVs rather than a stacked vent pipe to the roof and outside air. An AAV is an air admittance valve, a device which sits above the P-trap on a sink, directly above and in line with the drain to the tank. It allows the sink drain to flow without gurgling and siphoning the P-trap dry and eliminating the need for more plumbing through the roof. There's another type of valve in common use in RVs nowadays called a HEPVO valve, which can be mounted horizontally or vertically, completely eliminating the need for a P-trap. Great idea in an RV. It would mean no odors when in storage and no need to winterize or maintain the P-trap. I couldn't find any information from the forums or YouTube on how the 390RK's laundry was plumbed, but my options were either the P-trap, if there was not holding water, the AAV had failed, or the HEPVO valve had been defeated. It is so tight in the laundry that there is no way to access the drain without removing the dryer and most likely the washer. Not something I was looking forward to. A trip over to a little dealer, Little Prices in Mesa, Arizona was the only way to find out for sure. It just so happens that they have a 390RK on their lot. So off I went. The folks there were very accommodating and opened it up for a look-see. What I found was no P-trap, but a HEPVO valve, installed 6 inches below the drain opening in the wall. This meant I would have to remove the washer and dryer to rectify what I was guessing happened. I was betting that whoever installed the machines jammed the corrugated drain hose from the washer down the HEPVO valve, forcing it to stay open, defeating its ability to function properly. A little more research from the washer manufacturer showed a $1 U-clip, which was used to keep the drain hose in place and prevent what I think happened. I called my friend Chuck and begged for his help removing the laundry door, the dryer, and the washer to see if I was right. He accepted without reservation. I filled Shelley in, and she said that there were some parts in a bag in the closet for the washer that the mechanics had left for us from the dealership. She pulled it out and showed me, and sure enough, that U-clip was in there. Now I was 99% sure I was right. The next day, Chuck came over early and we started to work. We got everything exposed and I marked the washer drain with a Sharpie, then began pulling. Nearly 3 feet later, the end came out of the drain pipe. The HEPVO valve is only 6 to 8 inches below the opening, and the drain hose had been shoved a full 2 feet past the valve, rendering it worthless. We removed the valve and were able to push the now prolapsed valve membrane back into place with the aid of one of my ham radio antennas. Then reassembled the drain, attached the hose to where it was secured about 4 or 5 inches into the pipe before, but not into the valve. Secured the U-clip to the hose, then the wall, so there would be no chance of a repeat. Hooked up the washer and ran a test load. No leaks, and better yet, no odors. 20 or so minutes later, we had everything reassembled, the door back on, and announced a job well done. Kismet. I'm sure glad this reared its smelly head here before we had gotten on the road. It would have been a nightmare to tackle alone, at the least, or a very expensive and time-consuming proposition to either have a service center or a mobile repair tackle. As the saying goes, every once in a while, even a blind squirrel finds an acorn. Squirrel. Thanks for following along. Sure hope our story helps you with your problems. Stay safe. See you again next week.